Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robin, this is Digital Wilds, and welcome to something very special indeed. This is Fallout New Vegas, the no weapons run. I am not going full pacifist, but instead I'm going to clobber my way through the wasteland without using any weapons whatsoever. So without further ado, I've set the game to very hard. It's time for a new save file. Let's get going.
You're awake. How about that?
It's a classic intro, but you've probably already seen it, so we'll skip ahead. And as we wake in the doctor's office, it's time for a new adventure to begin.
Easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second? Get your bearings. Let's see what the damage is.
Damage appears to be that you've clipped into the chair there, Doctor.
Can you tell me your name?
Well, I think Cara is a perfectly acceptable name, but we need something that reflects our new nature, so I think Clobberin Cara is going to be our new name.
I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name.
Well, that's why I'm the violence doer and you're the doctor, Doctor. And as our name suggests, we are going to be female, and I think we're going to play as one of the relatively default characters. Let's go for preset 5. I like the look of her hair. And she is very much done taking everyone's shit. She's taken a bullet to the head, and now she wants revenge. Okay, so as Doc Mitchell lets us run around the room, it's time to go set up our stats. Now, there's some interesting things to think about here, because if we're going to be playing without weapons, we're going to have to use our bare fists. And the bare fists are a surprisingly little documented weapon in New Vegas. You'd expect them to be affected by strength, but they're not. They are affected by the unarmed skill, and at 100 unarmed, they do 5.5 points of damage, which is very, very low if you've ever looked inside the New Vegas files. That means it'll take about 60 punches to take down a relatively strong late-game enemy, so it's not going to be something we can rely on. But what that does mean is that we can tick down our strength score, so we'll need a little bit in order to affect our carry weight, but I think we can get away with 3 strength, which allows us to put up several other stats. Now, as we'll want to be getting through various challenges relatively swiftly, we'll want 6 in perception. I think endurance is going to need to go way up, because we're going to need to be able to survive getting clobbered. It's New Vegas, so charisma always goes down to 1, because you can always get speech up very high, and companion nerve is not a relevant factor for most of the game. Intelligence, very good to have that high, because you want as many skill points as possible, and this allows us to put our agility up to 6. Again, action points we're going to want maybe 7 even. Maybe go for... No, 9 intelligence you always want, because then you want to go get the implant. So I'm going to tick my perception down to 5, and that will mean that we can go and set our... use our remaining 2 points, set our luck to 7, which I think is a very good place to start, and that will mean that we can gamble, and we can get cash that way, and we can have a decent chance of getting critical hits in combat, which we're going to be relying on in order to get our fists run to work. So with that, our stats are set.
Must be some frontal lobe damage.
It's always frontal lobe damage because I've got high intelligence and low charisma.
I mean, them bullets didn't leave you nuttered and a bighorn and drop it.
Well, before we go and have a chat with the doc, we will take some of the freebies from this case. We're obviously not going to be able to use our guns, but we can sell them for valuable money, and that will be one of our key advantages during this game. Okay, so yes, we'll just enter random things, because we're going to edit these results anyway. Yes, strongly agree, whatever. Okay, so now we can reject all the stat bonuses he suggested. We are going to want to tag unarmed, because that's going to be crucial for our ability to do any damage at all. Medicine is going to want to go up fairly high, because taking care of ourselves is going to be a fairly important thing. Sneak and speech are both fairly important, and speech comes out relatively low. You'll want that up a little bit, at least as soon as possible, because having it at 8 is just not viable. But at the same time, lockpick is useful, as is science, but they're nearly at a level where I can get the easy hacks done anyway, so I think I'm going to tag speech. Okay, and traits. Now this is interesting. We can obviously have a good time with good-natured, because we're not using any of our weapon stats other than unarmed, so that's always worth taking. 4 eyes might be good, because you wouldn't hit someone with glasses, but keeping hold of glasses when you want to use the glasses slot for other things means that's a bit of a disadvantage, having that lack of perception. Most of the ones that relate to weapons are utterly useless. Skilled is relatively nice to have, but of course we're not using weapons skills, so a lot of those skill points would be wasted. You know what? I think we might do Wild Wasteland, because you very rarely get to see that. Okay, and obviously you can interrupt Doc Mitchell to get your Pip-Boy and so on handed over early.
I hope you don't mind.
And we'll thank him for patching us up. We don't want to punch him to death yet. Obviously, we're not going to enable hardcore mode because I'm going to have enough trouble with this run as it is. We'll just have a quick look through all his possessions, see if there's anything we can grab. Obviously, there's a couple of useful items around. The pre-war hat will let us dress ourselves up nice and dandily. See what we've got equipped. Obviously, we've got a load of the stuff that came with the expansion packs here, which I'm not that keen on wearing, to be honest. It's all this armor apart from the pre-war hat, which we'll equip now for +1 perception. But I think the Vault 21 jumpsuit is about what we're going to want to take with us. So we'll repair the broken submachine gun just to get it in our inventory and get some early experience going on. Take these Sunset Sarsaparillas because we're going to want to get set up with some healing fairly swiftly, and yeah, yes, we are definitely going to be needing stim packs. We may also use drugs a little bit more than usual because they're a good way of boosting our damage. There's a Today's Physician on that desk as well, which is always worth taking, as are the reading glasses. Gun case, we've already explored that, and I think if we have a poke around this room, there's a few first aid things in here as well, including a bobby pin, which we're going to need to get going with our hacking adventures. Ammunition box here, of course you want to take ammo because not playing in hardcore mode, it is weightless, and we can sell it for valuable cash. And I think if you look in this locker, yeah, there's some dirty pre-war business wear. +5 to speech might be useful because we are so low on it to begin with. So I will gladly take that. And as the good doctor wanders over to his bathroom, we can say goodbye to Doc Mitchell's place and head out into the wasteland. So here we are in the bright lights of the Mojave Desert, and this is Good Springs. And as Old World Blues loads in, we have access to all the DLCs. We will probably at some point get through to them. I have not installed any other mods for this. This is purely basic New Vegas just to get going. I'm just going to head over here to this Sunset Sarsaparilla machine and enjoying the game on ultra high settings because I've got myself a new computer since last time I played this game. This is a fresh install. And so there's plenty for us to get on with. Just going to scout around here and see if we can find anything in the mailboxes. And we'll also head in here and see if there's a bed I can use. There's a locked safe average in here. Can't quite get to that yet. Fungus growing in the toilet. Very, very nice. Hello, Mr. Sheep. Quick check in the mailbox over here in case there's any magazines. Oh, Boxing Times, unarmed +10. Might actually come in useful for the one run in the game where unarmed is a useful skill to want to boost with the magazine at some points. Well, we're in Victor's Shack now, and there's a couple of places we can store our unwanted items from the DLC. So in the oven they go. Let's just remember what we've taken from the DLC. There we go. That's the weapons gone. That is the apparel gone. Just going to have a quick look if there's anything else. I think we're good on that front. Vault 13 canteen, going to want to get that gone. And other than that, I think that's us sorted. Quite a lot of ammo on us now, which we can obviously sell to Chet. Our barter is going to want to go up because money for good armor is going to become a major factor. So without further ado, let's head over to see the townsfolk of Good Springs and see what they're up to. You know, playing this on ultra high, you do really start to appreciate some of the visual effects. The orange filter and the glow of the neon signs through the light, it's really quite gorgeous. So obviously, your first port of call when playing New Vegas should always be to do the very easy crimes that you can get away with, such as picking the lock to the Prospector Saloon. I very rarely play the lock-picking minigame with a controller, so I might break the odd bobby pin here, but there we go. That's 20 XP, nice and easy. Break into the Sunset Sarsaparilla crate, and we'll take a few of those. Also got a couple of magazines here, Meeting People and Salesman Weekly, both of which are very handy for the quests to come. We can also activate the Terminal Easy. So this is obviously quite an easy little minigame. You pick an item, try and match the letters that are in each one. In this case, sterile, there's 2 correct, so it could be someone. There we go, that's an exact match. I'll usually be skipping over that, but it's useful if you haven't played the game much to see how it works. And that gets us 30 XP and the ability to unlock this here safe. So within the safe, we've got a 9mm pistol, some anti-venom, a bunch of bottle caps, a fixer, and a rebound. A very nice little haul from that. Thank you to the gods of the random number generator. And with that, we'll head back out into Good Springs. We're not ready to go explore the bar quite yet. I see Victor's heading up to the heading up to the graveyard. We should probably go and have a chat with him. But for now, we can also break into this back room here. There we go, crack that open, and we get ourselves some free moonshine. This is technically stealing, but you don't really need to be hidden because no one else is ever going to be in here. I think you get 4 jugs out of that, which is pretty good. I don't know how good moonshine is as an item. Let's have a quick look. Charisma +2, intelligence -2, strength +2. So that could be potentially useful if we need a charisma check or if we have an issue where we need to resolve it with a strength check. As I said earlier, strength is not as useful as you'd think because it doesn't affect the bare fists weapon. So another 3 Sunset Sarsaparillas here, and another 3 here. Very well stocked for sarsaparilla right now. We're going to want to start drinking those the moment we start taking damage because getting them cracked open to get going on the Star Bottle Caps quest is going to be a fairly good way to go. Head into the saloon, and here we go.
Cheyenne, stay.
So we'll go with Sunny Smiles and learn how to survive in the desert. This is going to be the one time in the game that I fire a weapon, but because I'm not going to be firing it at anything that will feel it other than the poor empty sarsaparilla bottles, we should cope all right. Hi, Cheyenne.
Now, see the sarsaparilla bottles on the fence there?
Certainly do.
Take this and try to hit a couple of them.
So our gun skill is not very good, and I'm not used to playing with the controller, but I'm sure we can manage this.
That's the right idea. Look down the sight. Try crouching
There we
down
go.
and staying still. It'll help you move. Nice shot.
And there we
Well,
are.
that's a start. But I don't reckon you came to me to learn to fight sarsaparilla bottles.
Nope, I
Tell
came
you
to
what.
punch geckos with my bare hands. Come on, let's go. So we'll obviously de-equip the varmint rifle. And you'll see this is our bare fists item. This is not affected by what we're wearing, despite the fact that we've got this kind of metallic thing on our left wrist. You'd think that would give some heft to our punches. It's not even affected by any of the unarmed perks like Slayer, which give you faster attack speed. The bare fists are really a terrible item. I think you can use some of the special moves, special unarmed moves, that like the Rangers and so on teach you, but that's about the only upgrade you're going to get. So I'm sure if you've played New Vegas before, you'll know how this quest goes. We're heading up to this watering hole where there are mean geckos who are out to get us, and we're going to have to teach them a lesson. Here we go. So, first experience with VATs. We'll see how many hits we can get in. The one advantage the bare fists have is that you get quite a lot of shots in with them because they do so little damage. These geckos are not particularly tough because they are obviously the first enemies in the game, so we can punch them to death relatively swiftly, but obviously you'll see we take a fair few hits along the way, so limb condition is going to be a bit of a worry because especially if we get our armors broken, our abilities to fight are going to be severely limited. There we go. So, that was a bit of a slog, but we did get them down. No thanks to you, Sunny Smiles. I'll just quickly heal up here. Drink some Sunset Sarsaparilla, might as well get that going up because it's relatively heavy and will obviously give us the potential for bottle caps. So Sunny has not come to congratulate us on our fighting prowess, but has instead decided to hang back.
See? You're getting the hang of it.
Certainly am. Right, let's go. Let's rescue the woman from the... Well, I strongly doubt we can do this while keeping her alive, because you need to be relatively swift and relatively violent, and I can't really be either. Well, I can see the geckos. I'm going to prioritise getting down to help out that woman. Take this shovel here, because you'll want it for getting into graves in a minute. That's our way through the gecko, as I believe the bare fists are affected by the VATS stipulation that you get extra damage when in it. So getting my action points up is going to be quite important, and as is relying on allies like Cheyenne here, who's not doing a huge amount, but she knows how to bite a gecko. All right, that's 2 down. Clobbering away. Oh, we're very nearly dead already. Goodness. Okay, might as well start on our stim packs. We've got a fair few of them in the bag, and drink another couple of Sunset Sarsaparillas to keep our health ticking up. And yeah, the AP have come back, so let's try and be a big damn hero. The Vault Dorella in the hat is going to become a Good Springs legend at this rate. Oh, I don't think this woman's in a good way. Although she with her cleaver is doing a lot more damage than I am. Yeah, okay, we punched their heads off.
Holy moly. If you hadn't come here like you done, I'd be a goner for sure.
I'm not quite sure about that, but I'll take your rewards anyway. So we get some purified water, and we are now accepted with Good Springs. Excellent. Now, next step, Sunny is going to want to do us some survival training.
Some good work. Thought I might
Plus we get 50 bottle caps, very nice. So Xander Root and Brock Flower, you do not need to go back to town to get those. They are over on this hill over here, so I'll go and fetch those. There's also an even easier way to get past this part of the quest. If you have a healing powder in your inventory, which there's one of them in town that you can steal, Sunny will consider that you have clearly made that with a campfire and so know what you're doing, even if you didn't necessarily do that. Yeah, I think our character is finished, so we will travel onwards. And I think there are some other geckos up here, so I want to be a little bit on the lookout, but we should be doing okay for now. So there's the Xander route, and yeah, we've got a baby gecko here. Let's punch it to death. You can call it young all you want. We know you mean baby. And it's surprisingly tough. Uh-oh. I really don't want to get swarmed by these guys because that's a good way to get your limbs broken and therefore die. But if I just run, I should be faster than most of the enemies. Generally, movement speed in New Vegas, you should be faster than enemies unless you've got a broken limb or a very low agility skill. Neither of which I have. My agility is perfectly legitimate, and I am doing a fighting retreat, I believe they call it. Plus, if I lead them towards Sunny, she can probably do a decent job helping out. The danger, of course, being that I walk backwards off a cliff. Yeah, thanks, Sunny. And it doesn't matter who gets the actual kill, as long as I have done something with it, I will get some XP. Unfortunately, we can't now do the quest until she's out of fighting mode, which hopefully won't take long. Okay, so there we go. Right, let's make ourselves a healing powder. Just the one for now. And there we go.
Hey, that's not bad, see?
Okay, so we've nearly finished off the quest. I'm just going to fast travel up to Good Springs proper, and we'll go see Trudy to finish this off. And hopefully that should get us up towards level 2, which is going to mean we can make some important progress on our skill points.
I'm done being nice. If you don't hand Ringo over soon, I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not going to buy something, get out.
Yeah, go away, Cobb.
Well, you've been causing quite a stir.
Certainly have. Okay, so there's been an argument.
Town got itself dragged into the middle of something we don't want anything to do with.
Right, so we've got to go help out Ringo deal with the powder gangers. Now, obviously, we want to go deal with the powder gangers before we kill them all, so they don't start fighting us. We could murder Cobb, but it probably wouldn't help. If you do that, by the way, the quest can continue. You just can't have the Cobb ending to it, where you destroy Good Springs.
He's holed up at the abandoned gas station up the hill.
Okay, so that'll be our port of call down the line. Right, trying to track down the people who attacked me. What happened?
There were a bunch of freeloaders who expected a few rounds on the house.
So, long story short, she found the people who shot me in the head, and they were going up towards the strip. So we will head over that way. Can we see what she has for sale? We've got a special discount, given that we are liked by Good Springs. And obviously, we can start selling our weapons. And there we go. We want to keep the shovel, because we're going to want that for digging up graves. But everything that we were given by Sunny Smiles can be got rid of. And now we are up to level 2. So, obviously, unarmed needs to keep moving up. I think taking it towards 40 would be a good place to be. And then we've got another few points here. So I think that taking... So what do we got here? I think getting lockpick moving up towards 25 would be good, because then we can use get easy locks done. Obviously, we don't need any of the weapon skills. That is a significant lowering of the drain on our resources. Speech up to 30. That's handy for some quests later on. And might as well put a point into barter, given that we're going to be doing some trading. Right, Black Widow is quite good. 10% damage against men. That might be useful to have, because I think that does apply to the unarmed skill. So extra 10% damage against mostly male enemies would be handy. Intense training, not hugely useful now. Retention, somewhat useful, but generally not. Swift Learner is just a bit of a waste, because you tend to level up relatively quickly in this game anyway. I quite want to do Cherchez la Femme. I might do that down the line, but I think for now we're going to have to go with Black Widow. So that's an extra 10% damage against men. So instead of doing 5.5 damage with the unarmed fists at skill point 100, we are going to do, I guess, 6.05, which is something of an improvement. I managed to get stuck here beside Trudy.
Sure, the outside looks okay, but I think something broke on the inside. There'd be caps in it for you.
Just like me. Okay, so we'll fix the radio for Trudy here. There we go. It's fixed for an extra 10 XP, and we probably can get a reward for that.
Yeah, I heard it turn right back on after you got done tinkering with it.
There we go. Can't get the barter yet to get anything more, but nice to get a bit of a reward. And next up, we're going to head to the NCRCF. First, though, we're going to head up to the graveyard and dig around our graves and see what we can find. We might have to punch a few bloatflies to death, which wouldn't be ideal, but as long as we can stay out of the way of the giant rad scorpions on the other side of the valley, that will be okay. Looks like normal rad scorpions on the menu, though, so might as well get in a strong attack here and see how much we can do. Not very much, it turns out. I'd rather not get poisoned. That's going to be one of the key things to deal with. So it's going down at reasonable speed, but just does quite a lot of damage in its own right, so it's difficult to... We did get a critical there, so getting a luck score that was reasonably high was quite useful. Criticals are going to be an important part of this, because basically we're going to have to rely on unorthodox ways of dealing extra damage, and criticals do apply to the bare fists, so getting that critical score up from 7% to a bit higher will probably be quite useful. So if there's anything that affects unarmed or melee attacks on that score, that will be useful to know. Yep, here we go with the bloatflies. These guys are not very dangerous, but can be annoying to hit at range, so actually we might be in a better position to deal with them now than we would usually be. Unfortunately, they're not really worth dealing with, because they only give 1 XP. But they're worth dealing with just to avoid getting killed by them. Drunk a few sarsaparillas there, and there we go, knock that guy to the ground. Another one down, and that should leave us clear to start exploring these graves. So you can only do this if you have a shovel, but we'll take some of this free food as well. Never say no to that, particularly if we might be living the survival life somewhat soon. Open up this grave. Yeah, more 357 Magnum ammo. They're very keen on burying people with bullets. There's some enemies in this, by the way, like the legendary bloatfly, that it just wouldn't be a good idea for me to attempt to kill with bare fists. It's just not feasible, because you get killed with basically... a single hit, but that's not something to worry about until we get into Old World Blues. This is the distinctive cigarette butt. Interesting. Okay, I'll take those. Those will come in useful as evidence for my attempted murder by Benny later. And that probably will be useful, because actually fighting Benny is not going to be the best option. Okay, so it looks like we've got 1 remaining grave. Has a varmint rifle in it. Would be very nice if I was using weapons, but I'm not, so not much else to explore up here. Round a turbo, though. That's always worth having, just in case. Right, now, we need to head down... oh, there's giant rad scorpions over there. Okay, do not go that way. Absolutely cannot take those guys on, especially when they've got damage threshold like they've got. Coyotes, though, we can probably punch those to death. So, over this way. Here, doggy. Nice doggy. And punched a dog to death. Really how I intended to spend my day. Especially because I'm about to die. Still plenty of stim packs, and even on very hard, this game's list of items is quite forgiving, at least, even if the damage that enemies deal is not. These guys seem to be running away from me now, which is a bit of a blessing. We just need to head over towards the prison as soon as possible. Obviously, our HP and so on will go up as we go on, and basically the goal of this is to make sure that the fights are a bit of a slugfest that you can deal with at close range. Oh, someone's shooting, and I don't know who. Coyotes, being animals, have quite a small roaming range on them, which means that although we've run away from those two, we have now hit this guy. I could desperately do with some armour, because at the moment I've only got the Vault jumpsuits, which don't have any damage threshold, and I've got like the a pre-war business wear, which again, for obvious reasons, does not have any of that going on. Oh, we have come across the Devil's Gullet, though, or the Devil's Throat, whichever one it is. One of the Devil's Orifices. It's the Devil's Gullet. Yeah, this is the early game one. It's radioactive, but it's got some interesting loot in it, so it's worth exploring. Oh no, it's not radioactive. Clearly it's the Devil's Throat that's radioactive. Okay, well this is just a big hole in the ground. So we'll take this ammo. Always worth selling, because I'm going to want to stock up on stim packs and so on wherever I can, let alone anything more valuable. And, oh, we've got some free Hydra. Okay, I don't really use Hydra, but it might come in useful. I think it restores AP more quickly. Oh, and there's bullets being fired. I don't know if they're being fired at me. That is a thing worth knowing. I suspect... there's a yellow tick on the compass, so I suspect that's probably powder gangers shooting at the... Oh, it's Victor. Hello, Victor. Is the coyote going to kill Victor? Go on, yeah. Knock him into the Devil's Gullet.
You need to be careful. It's dangerous out here.
Yeah, you're doing well.
Heck, I can smell trouble a mile away.
Even when it's biting you into a ravine. Okay, probably best not to fight Victor. Coyote meat, though. I'll take that. Could probably use that at some point. And as we look over into the first area outside Goodsprings, we can see the prison there on the horizon with the test site just beyond it. And down there by that caravan, something horrible has occurred with those powder gangers, but they are powder gangers who are not going to shoot us imminently, which is, for now at least, the most important thing. Now I need to get speech up fairly rapidly, because it's just occurred to me that dealing with the powder gangers is going to require either speech checks or some violence, and violence against powder gangers who have guns, and there's multiple of them, is probably not at the level where I'm ready for it yet. So we'll check in the caravan, get ourselves a couple of bits. I've got some ammo and a magazine there. Plus you'll see there's the unfortunate spectacle of this woman who's been clearly stripped naked and dumped on the ground dead, and they clearly took out one of the powder gangers in the process. Ooh, leather armour, that's very useful. I will have that off that dead caravan guard. Thank you very much. So I now have damage threshold of 5, which makes life much easier. Works quite nicely as an ensemble with this quite natty hat, even if my hair does appear to be made of plastic. Here we are, and ooh, managed to step on a powder charge there. I forgot they were planted down there. That's what the powder gangers like to leave around to make sure they're left alone, but good excuse to drink some Sunset Sarsaparillas. Hopefully we can pick up a star bottle cap. There we go, first one of the game I believe, which means Malcolm Holmes will be on our tail and will obviously interrupt us while we sleep at some stage. So here we are at the prison. Now we've got a couple of hundred caps, so we should be able to pay doors to go in, even if we can't charm him with our new perk, which I believe we might be able to. Here we are. What do you want, fella?
Hey there, girlie. You here to party with the powder gangers? This is, or was, the big house. One day...
Yep, we got the, they've been taken over the prison.
Well,
So annoyingly, there isn't a way to, with Black Widow, get our way into the prison. We have instead to just pay him off with a couple of hundred caps, which is not cheap at this stage in the game. So here we go. Myers, he'll be useful later if we are doing the Prim quests. I'm going to see if we can sneak our way into this first aid box, because I could use some extra stim packs and so on. A vending machine as well. Probably can't steal from that without getting seen. So instead, we'll just head through into the courtyard and over into the main administration building, which is where we are going to do most of our work with the prisoners. The water valve here is free to use, but it is irradiated, so you can use it to heal, and it's quite a good healing rate, 5, but obviously you take 5 rads a second as punishment for that. So we'll want to find a source of rad-free water at some point soon that isn't just good springs. Here we are. So obviously Hannigan here is a doctor. And up this way, through to the main administration room, you'll see they've defaced this picture of President of the NCR, Aaron Kimball. And Scrambler here with the eye patch is the big damage dealer of this group, and Eddie is the one in charge.
Dawes said he let somebody in. So you going to give me a reason not to kill you and throw your body back outside?
I can do quests for you.
This is Powder Ganger territory.
So we've got to deal with Chavez first. And I believe our 30 speech should be perfectly sufficient to get past him. So I thought the law begins, and we'll add that to our quest log. We're going to go on and get our skills relatively high, because the only other way to complete the Powder Ganger quest in Goodsprings is going to be to side with a load of the villagers who have actual weapons and training to use them. Otherwise, I'm just going to get shot to death as I try to pummel a huge group of prisoners armed with dynamite. So just to maximise our speech abilities, I'm going to switch over from the leather armour to the Dirty Pre-War Business Wear for speech +5. And we can also equip this Vault 21 jumpsuit for speech +2, but I think that's better, and the perception +1 of the hat means we are very well dressed indeed. Although those shoes don't look particularly comfortable in the desert heat. So over here, Chavez and his camp are there by that crashed boxcar. And doing this fists only would be quite the challenge, given there's 4 of them and they have guns. So our resolution must be peaceful, I fear. Hello, good sir.
You just walked into the wrong camp, my friend.
Eddie sent me to deal with you.
That's nothing new. Am I supposed to be impressed?
Yes, because speech check.
All right.
There we go. So he's gone. That's 55 XP, 35 XP for us. These guys are going to start heading on their way, I suppose. We can, for now, use their campfire if there's anything we can cook. I do have some gecko meat. Not some gecko meat. I have some... Oh, we got a note here as well. Some of the fellas farther north are trying to organise. We're starting to think it's a good idea. Got to pool resources if we're going to survive out here. Sure, you've noticed the decline in travellers. If they're getting wise, so should we. Interesting. So it's nice to see what they're thinking. Oh, we can grab some free dynamite as well. And with that, back to the NCRCF. There's a lot of load zones in this quest, which obviously increases the risk of crashing, given that New Vegas is New Vegas. But hopefully we should get by without too much of that difficulty. Chavez is gone.
I'm happy you cleared that up for me, but we've got another situation to worry about.
Always something else, isn't it? So we're going to deal with this merchant over by the skydiving school. Perfectly legitimate. I think this is another one we can sneak or perception our way down. So we won't have to fight him. Although, I mean, he is fightable because there's only one of him. We could just punch him to death. And I don't think he's wearing anything particularly tough on the armor front. Let's head over to Good Spring Source. That's probably the nearest fast travel point until we actually get to the skydiving school. You can see it there on the horizon. Just in case we do have to fight him, going to go back over to our leather armor.
Better be careful around these parts. I hear there's powder gangers around and dangerous for merchants like me.
Merchants? Or NCR agents?
Guess I was a little too obvious. I'm actually a bounty hunter. I was hoping to bag some powder gangers if they tried to rob me.
Yep, so you can speech your way around this. We could attempt to make him pay a toll, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. So he's off, and while we're here, might as well go into Gene skydiving. I think there's some lootable things in here, including, I think, the star bottle cap, and there's a key of some sort there, which I presume will go for this locker. That gets us quite a lot of stuff, actually. Some rounds, some bottle caps, some boxing gloves, electron charge pack, laser RCW. That, I think, that's a very good drop for early on in the game. The laser RCW is basically like a sort of Tommy gun that shoots lasers. Useful if you're into your energy weapons. I'm not, but handy anyway. Wasteland Settler outfit is plus agility. Might as well have that just in case. I'll take the laser RCW because I can sell it. Anything else in these lockers while I'm here? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, well, that was a useful raiding session anyway. So with that, back to the NCRCF. There we go, he's gone. And our job in Prim is to find out what the NCR are up to. And spoiler alert, they are planning to storm this place, and I'm going to help them out. Because basically the alternative is that you go and help the powder gangers defend the prison, which is much harder because you're up against armoured troopers with service rifles. Whereas if you are trying to destroy the prison encampment, you can get a much easier time by simply ratting on them and hiding behind the armoured troopers to do your dirty work for you. So there's Prim with the roller coaster just over the hill. We'll probably get shot at from the roller coaster if I remember correctly. There's some convicts on top of it who aren't powder ganger aligned, who just like to shoot at you randomly if you walk too close. Yeah, I can see one of them now actually. There we go. Just perched on top of that roller coaster there. Gonna try and stay out of his range if possible, because I have no way to hurt him unless I can get up there. And you can climb the roller coaster, but it's a long way around to get there. If I can hide under these rocks, that'll probably protect me from any incoming fire. So here we go, as we approach Prim, this NCR trooper will come up and yell at us.
You're going. Prim is off limits.
Yeah, I can take care of myself. So he's an interesting one, because if you kill him, he's wearing a bit of armour called the NCR Trooper Fatigues. They are not armour at all. They only offer 2 damage threshold, but they weigh 26 pounds. I don't know what they're made of, bean bags or something. So in any case, here we are at Prim. You can see the NCR flag flying high over that encampment there. That's where we're going to need to go to find out about this raid. While we're here, we might as well do a couple of things to get our XP up, because levelling up quickly is going to be quite important. One, we can start taking out these mines. Make sure you grab them as you go in. You've got to be aggressive with these things, but they are gone now. And we didn't take any damage in the process, so no harm done. Next up, I think there's some first aid kits and so on scattered around these buildings that are useful to have, just in case there are any stim packs or so on in them. Not what I can see. Okay, never mind then. And in this building, I believe it's this one here. Yep, this one is always empty, and not only is there a bedroll you can sleep on, there's a box with some free ammo, and I think there's an armor case where you can get some NCR armor. You can get the bandolier armor or the mantle armor or the trooper helmet. I'll take a trooper helmet because having some head damage threshold would be useful, and the bandolier armor is probably better than wearing the leather armor when it comes to combat as well, so it's useful to have that on hand. Now, break in here, and Lieutenant Hayes is the guy in charge. He's the one we're going to talk to.
I'm Lieutenant Hayes of the New California Republic Army, 5th Battalion, 1st Company.
So do you have any plans to attack the prison?
Military operations are classified information. We were sent out here to hold back the tide of convicts from the correctional facility.
Well, you're not doing a very good job, are you?
The mission isn't a problem. The problem is with supplies.
Okay, so we want some reinforcements here, but that never comes up as a quest or anything. It's just a kind of interesting backstory. So what we need to do, he won't give us the plans, but if we wait till he's standing over here, or when he goes to sleep, either are good, we can steal the military orders off him. And because they are 0 weight, there is no chance of us being caught. That's how these things work. I'll pickpocket the dog tag off that guy as well, because that might come in useful. Right, so now that we know about the attack, we can go back in, talk to Lieutenant Hayes, and offer to help out. He'll be bemused at the mystery of how I discovered about the attack and then not realise his order papers are missing.
Military operations are classified information.
Classified or not, I want to help the attack.
Powder gangers did you wrong, is that it?
That's correct. Actually, they gave me several quests and lots of XP, but I know they're not as useful later on in the game, so over to the Powder Ganger Camp South, and we'll help storm the place. Might as well dress ourselves appropriately for the occasion. We are in NCR armor and an NCR trooper helmet. So now have damage threshold of 11, which is much better. And here we are. Here's our commanding officer for this raid.
I'm Sergeant Lee.
Yeah, and let's go. So they've blown their way into the facility. These powder gangers don't seem to realise what's happening yet. But here come the troopers, and they're obviously starting to shoot at me. My damage threshold holding up nicely on this. I might take out a couple of the guys in the towers just to minimise NCR casualties. You want to make sure basically as many of the guys survive the trip into the facility as possible so they can take out the tougher enemies. I punch you. I punch you again. Trooper Cara calling for backup. I've got a gun through my chest. Annoyingly, they do have armor, so it will be resisted by most of your attacks. Now, a trooper down there is helping me out. I think that's my commanding officer, in fact. So we're not completely defenseless here, and we can inflict damage on his limbs and so on. So if we can cripple bits of him, or punch the gun out of his hands, that will make things significantly easier. There we go, staggered. I want to take out at least one of these guys on this raid, so I can prove myself useful. His health really not insisting on going down very fast. There we go. Quick, strong attack to get a critical in. He's managing to miss me at point-blank range, which is quite reassuring. And really are doing terrible damage there. I believe armor negates 80% of damage under the damage threshold, which means that our unarmed attacks, which already only do 3 or 4 damage, will probably be only doing 1 or 2 hit points. Anyway, everyone out here has been dealt with, so time to go in and face the music indoors. Not too many NCR corpses that I can see, so it looks like they've been relatively successful. Inside is where the carnage happens. But there's about 7 of our guys versus a few of them, so we should be able to make it without any trouble. Scrambler is the one who's dangerous because he's got himself a plasma weapon, which you never want to underestimate. Take all we can off these guys. Might as well nick stuff out with this. Oh, I'm under danger, so I probably won't be too complacent. Ah, yeah, submachine gun there. So those guys, although they're not heavily armoured, you do want to be a bit careful because the NCR guys can go down. Might as well do some damage on my own. And unfortunately, you can't do locational damage with VATs in unarmed, so I can't punch the guns out these guys' hands. Would probably be the most useful contribution I could make. Okay, we have won I Fought the Law, although it doesn't look like it to me, frankly, because the battle is very much ongoing, and I'm getting punched to death by Scrambler. I'm going to hide behind my trooper buddies here and take some stimpaks. He's only got an unarmed weapon, but it's quite a powerful unarmed weapon. I think he's got some spiked knuckles, so you don't want to be too complacent. Let's punch him to death, given that he's on very small HP now. There he goes. Oh, we're shunned by the powder gangers. What a shame. And with that, we're into level 3, which is very, very handy. So obviously unarmed needs to keep ticking up. I'll give it that 4 points. Repair up to 30 wouldn't be too bad. We can maintain our armor. Same with speech. Getting that high would be good. Survival 25, probably quite handy. I'm going to be using a lot of food and drink. Sneak high, probably quite useful for some of the challenges to come. Explosives, I'm going to want that ticking up a little bit because I might want to pass that check with Easy Pete. Okay, so lots of dead powder gangers here, which crucially means lots of loot. And I could try and pick that door, but I don't have a way to get my lockpick up to 50, so not much else we can do here, frankly, because I can't unlock any of these facilities. But we made it through. 4 bottle caps in that desk. There we go, that's my reward. Carton of cigarettes as well, we can sell that later. Okay, so I Fought the Law done. It's time to go deal with Cobb & Co. Also, steal the administration key off Eddie's corpse, and I think that gets us into the safe upstairs. Plasma pistol as well, somewhat valuable, might as well take it. It's very rare that the NCR will lose that fight, but it is technically possible. Oh, okay, the administration key doesn't get us into the safe there. Interesting. 40mm grenade out of that case though. Brass knuckles as well, handy. There we go, admin key. NCR didn't seem to mind us doing that. There's a whole load of ammo you can steal here. Hurts your karma, but not too bad otherwise. Oh, explosives crate as well. Dynamite, don't mind if I do. I think that's about it for now. So as we head out into the honking night of the NCRCF and back to Good Springs to finish off the quest, I think we will call it a part there. I think it's been pretty successful. Have managed to mostly avoid dying. Oh, this place is still full of prisoners. That wasn't a good idea, was it? I mean, they don't have armor, but they do have knives. So, as Clobberin Cara makes her impression on these fellows, who are not being very collegiate, frankly, and not doing their time in an appropriate manner, it's time to leave things off. I'm just going to take this damage like a champ and hope they don't follow me out of the building. Okay, this is a problem, because the NCR aren't here to help me. So I'm just going to run and hope that I can get back to town before anything bad happens. Might switch back over to my light armor, just so I can run slightly faster. Oh, it's Malcolm Holmes! Malcolm, help me! Yes, Sunset Sarsaparilla bottle caps. Where can I find more of these caps? Well, I could find a few of them by punching you to death. Are they going to kill Malcolm Holmes? It's usually me who does that. Oh, I made an enemy, apparently. So, things have not started well for Clobberin Cara, frankly. And things are going to continue not going well in the next episode, because I need to lead these guys back to Good Springs, where more powder gangers are going to be ganging up on us, as the name implies. Keep punching and running. Run and punch and run. So with that, I'll leave you there, staring down the face of this very angry man, and we'll call it a part. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Robin, this has been Digital Wilds. If you'd like to help me keep growing, you can subscribe, and I am on Patreon at patreon.com/digitalwilds. And with that, I'll see you next time.